So you guys had 4 assigned readings for homework last night. I'm hoping and assuming that you did them. So I'm going to start the class out with a few questions, okay? Yeah? All right. Remember to raise your hands. First of all, what is the difference between first person point of view and second person point of view?
First person is more of like a dialogue speaking from the person, or like an internal thought. So like, I did this, or my stuff. And second person is more like you're talking to somebody, like you over there, that's your stuff.
Yes. So that's correct except for one part. So with second person point of view, it's usually focused around the audience being your main character. So your readers are your main character. So you wouldn't really say, you over there, you go do that. That's your main character still giving someone else a direction. Whereas if you say, you went and did this, that is your reader being the main character and being told to go do this by the book in the story. Right, does everyone understand?
Kind of.
Do you have any questions?
Little bit. I thought second was focusing a little more on descriptive words, like things and feelings and touchy things.
So yes, that is correct. Second person also focuses on the senses because you don't know who your reader is and you don't know their background. So trying to write a second person story can be very difficult. But when you take the senses, everyone knows what that's like. Unless you're deaf or blind or have other exceptions. But everyone knows what flowers smell like. Everyone knows what cotton feels like. It helps immerse the reader into their sense of being inside the story and being the main character if they can pretend to feel those sensations as well. Good? All right, my second question is, what is the difference between first person point of view and third person limited point of view? Yes.
So, first person, like I said, is you. The main character is the author, right? Behind me, doing stuff, and the third person objective is kind of like somebody looking down on the situation, but they know what you feel. No, they don't know what you feel. The other one.
So. That is correct, but I asked about third person limited, not third person objective. So yes, the difference between first person and third person objective is that you don't know what any of the characters are feeling in objective. You're a fly on the wall and you don't really know what's going on inside their head, but you see what they see, you can see what they do, and you hear the inflection in their voice. And it's a story based more along the lines of facial expression and explaining body language than what's going on inside the characters' heads. Now, for limited, do you know what limited is? Just give it a shot.
I would guess you only know what the character knows, you know nothing else, so you're taking the journey with the character?
So yes, there's 2 types really in fiction writing for third person limited. There's the kind where you only know what that singular character is thinking, and then you have some books that jump around from one point of view to a second point of view, and it can create dramatic irony. So you have your one character and you can only see inside their head and you don't know anything else that's going on, but then sometimes for one chapter maybe you jump to like the villain and you can see inside their head and you know their thoughts and their feelings, like their evil plan. That's when the dramatic irony comes in, because you're reading the book now and you're going on this journey with this character and you want to shout to them like, no, that's the evil plan. You don't know what's happening. And that can be a huge advantage. All right, so those are my questions for you guys. So just to start out the lesson for today, to review point of view, it is the way the story is told. Who is telling the story? Why are they telling the story? And how do you refer to the main character who is telling the story? So the 4 types of POVs, the points of views, are first person with I, me, and my. It's second person with you and yours. Third limited with he, she, and they, where you know their emotions and their feelings. And then third person objective, he, she, and they, where you don't know their emotions and their feelings. So some advantages of first person POV is that you become attached to the character because you feel like you are them. If the story is written in I, you feel like you are almost telling the story yourself. I did this, I fought this huge wolf, I have succeeded. You become one with the main character. It also allows the chance for a little bit of bias to come in, because if it's that one singular point of view, that character can be very biased. They can be racist, they can be bigoted, and that's how they think because it's their story. So if you're looking for a character like that who overcomes a huge transformation, I is usually a good place. For second point of view, it's just fun. It's hard to write in second point of view for longer stories, but it's really, really fun for short fiction and flash fiction, where you just immediately immerse the writer, and then they're in, that's it. Or the reader, I'm sorry. You immediately immerse the reader, and then they're the main character, and then all of a sudden they're out of it again. So examples of third person limited, you can, totally lost it. What am I talking about? The character seems more personable, and they're more caring, or they're more evil and destructive. You see this other person that you've never met before, it's this new friend that you don't know. And you talk about them as he, she, or they, and they go through all this stuff, and you're like, what? And you know what they're feeling, so you can empathize and you can sympathize toward them. And you're like, I want to help you. And you get emotionally attached to the main character in third-person limited stories. You only see their point of view, so you don't care what any of the other characters think. You care about that one singular character, and you want to see them do well. Question?
Can people do third limited with 2 characters?
So yes, third limited can have 2 characters. Once you get beyond that, you start doing something called third omniscient, which is for another day's lesson. So some advantages of third person objective is it leads a little bit of suspense in for the reader. They don't know what's going on inside the characters' heads, so they don't know how to feel. They have to watch the characters through the words on the page and figure out what's going on in the situation. Like, the homework you're going to be assigned tonight, it's called Hills Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway. There's 2 people sitting in this cafe discussing something, and they never mention the topic of the discussion, not once. However, by the end of the story, you kind of know what's going on, even though they never mention the exact words. And it's through the body language, and it's the person, and it's the way they talk, and it's a man and a woman. And you start to understand and put 2 and 2 together to get 4. And that's really satisfying for the reader. You want to give them 2 plus 2, but you don't want to give them 4. You want to leave a little open to the imagination. So, just to double check if you guys, question?
2 plus 2 equals elephant?
Sure, 2 plus 2 equals elephant. So just to make sure you guys are understanding, it's up on the board, but I'm going to ask you the question anyway. Don't look at the board, you can't see it. How is the main character referred to in first point of view?
I,
Yes?
me and my?
Yes. Now, how is the main character referred to in second person?
He, she, they?
No.
Oops.
You and your.
You and your. Second person is when your reader becomes the character. Third person limited and third person objective is he, she, and they. So, to double check with you guys, what are some advantages of first person point of view? Do you remember?
You get really attached to the character because you are the character.
Yes. Do you have another?
No.
Alright, that's fine. What are some advantages of second person?
It's very good for imagery.
Yes, it's very good for sensory, imagery, things like that. Do you have another?
Not this time.
That's okay. What are some advantages of third person limited?
I'm trying to look at the board. I know I can't look at the board.
Well, that's not up on the board, but
Oh, right. Mister? No, not mystery. It's not mystery.
so
It leaves open dramatic irony when there's 2 people.
yes. Also, you get so attached to the character because they become like a real person to you. They become your best friend, at least in my experience. What are some advantages of third person objective? This is where your mystery comes in. All right.
Really good for horror stories.
It is also very good for horror stories. It's very hard to write objective in horror stories because you want to show your main character, you want to tell how afraid they are, but you have to do it all through body language and all through vocal patterns. And it's very difficult to do. But I challenge you, for your homework tonight, write a third-person objective horror story.
Do I get extra credit?
No, because you have to do it anyway.
Oh.
But do a horror story.
Do I get extra credit if it's good?
No, you get graded.
Do I get extra credit for pointing out smart kid never raises his hand?
No.
Okay.
But you are correct. He needs to raise his hand. So your homework for tonight has two parts. It's Hills Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway. And you also have to write short paragraphs like the ones you had for homework last night that have to do with the 4 objectives. The bonus points are if you write a short paragraph in third person Omniscient. I haven't talked about that. We mentioned it briefly. If you guys want to take it upon yourself to research it and write a little short paragraph about it, I'll give you 5 extra points on the
About it or in it?
Yes,
About it or in it?
in it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for coming to class. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you learned a lot. And have a good day.